into Bet USA. Bob Slovak here, along with the consummate pro Jason Alexander. Hey, we're here, and you know the motto. We don't want you to work harder. We want you to
bet smarter, Bob. Absolutely. And I tell you, we've got what a loaded weekend we have coming up. NBA basketball, college hoops, NFL Super Sunday. I can't wait.
Man, I can't wait. But let's look back at last weekend. What a weekend for the NFL. I mean, I was glued to the TV for all four games. All four games went down to the wire. How was it from a betting perspective?
Oh, an emotional roller coaster, as they say. And whether you had Tennessee, Cincinnati, whatever side of the ball you were on, you were sweating it the whole way. But for three underdogs to cover, I don't know. I tell you, the gamblers probably took a little bit of a hit, but we've got a couple winners plus over-unders ready to rock for this Sunday.
All right, let's talk about the NFL first. We'll go with it. KC, Cincinnati, games in KC. The Chiefs hosting the AFC Championship for the fourth straight year.
At Arrowhead.
It is hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. The line has stayed at about 7 points all week long.
A little bit surprising. I'm expecting moving toward the weekend it's going to go a little bit higher. I think it might settle in about 7.5 or 8, because right now opening at 7 after the offensive show that Kansas City put on against Buffalo on Sunday night. It's just going to have a tough time figuring out how Cincinnati's going to hang in this ball game. But there's a reason that Vegas wins. I think that line's a little low, so we're going to figure it out and look for Sunday morning. We're going to have a couple winners.
Well, they got the over-under set at 54.5. Do you like that number?
I do. And this is one of those pocket plays, Bob. If you're going to play Cincinnati, I'd rather play Cincinnati and the over. If you feel like Cincy's going to score 24 points, you're almost guaranteeing yourself a push. Now, you want to try to go 2-0, but can Cincy score enough to hang with Mahomes and KC? We'll see.
It's all going to come down to the Cincinnati defense. If they can force Mahomes into some mistakes, they have a chance. If they don't, they're going to get throttled.
And that was their blueprint against Tennessee. They forced Tannehill into a couple of bad throws. If they can pick off Mahomes twice, maybe get a fumble somewhere.
Yeah.
You never know, because Joe Burrow will capitalize.
I have seen some people picking Cincinnati, so that would be a major upset.
It would.
We'll see how that plays out. The other game at L.A., the Rams hosting San Francisco. 49ers beat them twice in the regular season. Can they beat them a third time?
This is one you can go back and forth on and really argue. The line is really good. It's 3.5. You know, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. You always want to play the better quarterback in the playoffs usually. But the Niners can run the football. But Matthew Stafford, much more established, has made some much bigger throws than Garoppolo over the course of this year for sure. So at home, at L.A., Aaron Donald, Von Miller coming off the edge. Can the Niners run the ball effectively enough to not put too much pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo? And that's what the ballgame's going to come down to.
Yeah, if the 49ers can pressure Stafford and get some picks on him, that will turn the table a little bit. The over-under is 46.
It is. What Rams team shows up? The Rams team in the first half in the last 25 seconds against Tampa Bay? Or is it the Rams team that played a majority of the third and fourth quarter? So if they have a little off quarter or two, look for the 49ers to capitalize. So it's going to be very interesting. I think we're leaning towards the over right now because two great defenses sometime equal a little bit of offense.
That's going to be a fun Sunday. Let's talk some basketball now. Hey, let's start with the NBA. We got a little handful of games we're going to talk about here. I always like to see what Dallas is doing. They're 28-21 right now. They're taking on Indiana, who's only won 17 games. What do you like there?
Well, I look at the Pacers here over the last week, and the NBA is such a momentum league. What have you done lately? What have you done over the past week? And, the Pacers have been on the road. 7 of their last 8 games have been on the road.
Wow.
They're a little tired. They're not very good. Charlotte just dropped $158 on them.
Oh, man.
So going into Dallas, we'll see where the spread is. But right now, it's really very difficult to bet against Luka, Kristaps Porzingis at Dallas. So the Mavs have been pretty good this month. Couple of bad losses, but their roster is much more loaded than the Pacers.
Washington against Memphis, and Ja Morant is really lighting up. He's so much fun. The Grizzlies are 33 wins already.
They do, and Ja Morant, I'm telling you, he's taking that next step here in the NBA in his career for sure. Interesting looking at these two matchups, though. Washington, on paper, not all that good, but they've lost 4 in a row, but covered 3 of them, ATS. So you look at that, and then you go the Grizzlies. They've won 10 of their last 12, but they've only covered about 4 of them.
Wow.
So Washington could be a hidden gem on Sunday night to keep this close. We'll see where the line settles in.
And Memphis is playing Utah on Saturday, so it's the second
It's a back-to-back,
yeah,
exactly.
So that's going to play into it as well.
Look at all that stuff. You just don't know. Maybe the old Wizards can spring a upset against the line.
They do play well against the spread. All right, Brooklyn against Golden State, man. This is a marquee matchup.
This is ABC prime time. I tell you, if Harden plays, we'll always want to watch. But look, Harden kind of turned into the Harden of old. gold, they say, but they're not. It's not equaling any victories for the Nets. And so is Harden going to play? That's going to be obviously a big adjuster on the line. The Splash Brothers are back in Golden State. They've won 4 in a row. Steph and Clay dropping bombs from downtown. So we'll see where that line settles. But right now, at Golden State, Splash Brothers back. It'll be tough to bet against the Warriors.
Miami against Toronto. I didn't know this until I checked the standings. The Heat, number 1 in the East right now.
That's right. The Heat have been hot, as they say, no doubt about it. And look, Toronto comes in. They've lost 4 in a row. They've been kind of a 500 team. They won 4 in a row right out of the gate in January and then kind of been 500, moseying along. But right now, going into Miami, loaded roster, number 1 in the East. We'll see where the spread is, but it'd be tough to get a bet against the Heat.
All right, that's going to be fun to watch for sure. All right, a huge weekend of NCAA basketball. As we get closer to February, which gets us closer to March Madness, we'll be ready to rock and roll. I just wanted to look at some of the top 10 matchups.
Sure.
So, number 1, Auburn. Let's see, can they celebrate their success and stay number 1? They're hosting OU.
Whether this is kind of matching up a little bit, before Auburn played Missouri, Auburn only scored 55 points against Missouri, won by a point. Missouri's not all that good. A little bit dangerous kind of going into this Oklahoma game. Oklahoma can play with a few of the top teams. So we'll see where that spread is, but look out for Oklahoma to possibly come in. Auburn, just a little bit of a downfall here all of a sudden. We'll see what the number 1 team in the nation does.
You got to be able to survive your success. We'll see how Auburn
That's exactly
does.
Right.
Number 2, Gonzaga taking on Portland. I don't know, the numbers are not out there. It's got to be big.
It's going to be big, and I'm saying this might be one of those big lines. We don't like to play the big lines too much, but it's going to be tough to bet against the Zags. Portland's going to have to really level up. They are coming off a win against Pacific, but what does that really tell you? So Drew Timme, the 7-footer Chet Holmgren for Gonzaga, very dominant down low. It's going to be tough for Portland to keep up.
Going to be fun. All right, huge rivalry game in Tucson. Arizona State at number 3, Arizona. When these two get together, who knows?
I was going to say you can kind of throw the lines, the trends moving into this game out the window when it goes to a big rivalry game like this. But we'll say Arizona looking a lot stronger than Arizona State, but we're upset by UCLA, blown out in their last game. So maybe that gives the Sun Devils a little bit of hope going into this, going, hey, they might have been a little down tick as well. Look out for the Devils, possibly to spring a big upset.
Number 4, Baylor's playing at Alabama. Baylor seems they got it back on track after those 2 losses.
They did, and it was just kind of a bump in the road. And what impresses me more about Baylor, Bob, is, as good as they are, they don't have a dominant superstar. It's kind of a by committee a little bit. They have 4 or 5 players averaging double digits, but nobody averaging more than 14 points a game, which is a little bit strange from a top-tier team. You usually have that one guy. Yeah. And Baylor's by committee. They've got some leadership, and so moving into playing the Crimson Tide, I don't know. They have Jaden Shackelford, who's been wonderful for the Crimson Tide, but I don't think they're going to have enough to compete with Baylor.
All right, one of the let's check this one Big Ten matchup. We got number 16 Ohio State at number 6 Purdue. What do you got?
I watched the Purdue-Iowa game last night and was so impressed. You talk about a presence in the middle. Zach Edey, 7-4. Now, he only scored 4 points, but you talk about just affecting shots. I don't know. The Buckeyes, they've got 3 wins in a row, but traveling to Purdue. Purdue's got a bunch of shooters. They got the big man inside. I'm kind of leaning towards the Boilermakers, but we'll see.
All right. Big man inside. Be fun to watch.
7-4.
So I'm going to have to check that out. I hadn't seen him play yet. I'm definitely going to check that out.
He's huge.
All right. One of the marquee matchups of the weekend, number 12 Kentucky at number 5 Kansas.
You say Kentucky and Kansas.
I know.
Kind of just get your NCAA basketball blood going, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah.
And Calipari coming back to Kansas here. I love Coach C. And, what's really interesting, kind of breaking this game down a little bit, both teams are led by seniors. And when the one-and-done era, both of those programs, usually you have a freshman and go, and their top 2 scorers are both seniors. So they got some good leadership. This is going to be a toss-up. Kansas, you have to give the edge to being at home. But 2 powerhouse teams are going to get after it on Saturday.
Number 7, Houston at Central Florida. Kelvin Sampson, what a coach, next man up mentality. So many injuries, but they just keep rolling along.
They do. He's the best coach in the country, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's got
definitely.
my vote.
It's got mine, too.
I guarantee it. And, Houston, the Cougars do so much on the defensive end, which I think is just a sign of a wonderful coach and a great program. They play hard on the defensive side of the ball, of the court. And so 9 in a row for the Cougs. They're at UCF. They've got Darren Green Jr., who's a solid little player player there for the Knights. They're going to be enough to take down the Houston Cougars. I doubt it. We'll see where the spread is, but I like Coach Sampson.
Yeah, if you don't play defense, you don't play for Coach Sampson.
You don't play for Coach Sampson. That's exactly right.
Stanford, you mentioned UCLA. Stanford at number 7 UCLA. The Bruins, they got it going on.
They do. The Bruins have been hot. The Cardinals have not. So going into L.A., I like the Bruins a little bit in this matchup. They've got some young talent, and they're fast. They like to go up and down the court a little bit. They're fun to watch. It's going to be an entertaining ball game.
Another big rivalry game coming up this weekend. Michigan at number 10, Michigan State.
So looking into this game, Bob, Coach Juwan Howard, Michigan had a lot of trouble with COVID there for about 3 weeks. He said they are healthy, they're ready to rock, and ready to roll going to Michigan State. Losers of 2 of their last 3 games for the Spartans. I think Michigan might have a little bit more of a chance than anybody gives them credit for going to a number 10 team in the nation. Look out for the Wolverines, possibly to spring an upset. We'll see how many points they're getting.
All right, outside the top 10, number 18, Tennessee at Texas. I don't know what to think of the Longhorns sometimes. So.
It's just a toss-up with the Longhorns. They'll win 2 or 3 in a row, and then they'll have a bad loss. I thought there was a great win against Oklahoma State here a couple of games ago. They've just been a little bit indifferent. They've got 2 really good senior leaders, Marcus Carr, Timmy Allen for the Longhorns. And then Tennessee, they had a big win over LSU the last couple of games. They've won 3 straight. So the Volunteers have a little momentum coming into Austin. We'll see if the Longhorns can step it up, get a little senior leadership to get a win.
All right, that covers the NFL, the NCAA top 10, a little NBA action for you. That's their information to help you not work harder, but bet smarter here. So go to, where do you go?
BetUSA.pro. Now, we're going to have all of these winners released at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on BetUSA.pro. For the Saturday games, NFL will be on Sunday, same time. BetUSA.pro. And let's get some winners this weekend. Put a little walk-around money in your back pocket.
Yeah, there you got it. Bob Slovak for Jason Alexander. Thanks for joining us here on BetUSA. Go out there, make some money.